You're gonna do great, okay?
Yes. Who's coming on this class? Do you know anyone who's coming on this class? Did you get any, Hi, good evening. This is Jan Wheeler. You are here because you signed up for a real live class that's supposed to help you learn how to stop making the mistakes that most home buyers make each and every day. Real estate is so dynamic and changing that first timers often run into the problems that a home buyer who hasn't bought for 40 or 50 years does, because we need to keep up with the times. So let's get started here. And this evening, I want to introduce my lovely assistant who's going to be looking at your chat and seeing what questions you might have. She has been in real estate for about 5 years. Her name is Gwen Wheeler, and she's my lovely daughter-in-law. I have been in real estate for over 23 years and have experience in several different decades. My first time around in the 70s and 80s, and then again since 2010. So there has been a lot of changes in those times. And if you have any questions about interest rates, I can take you through from 16.5% in the 1980s to today, where they are hovering around 6. I do want to let you know that this is going to be an interactive class. I don't want to feel like I am talking to myself. So if you are managing toddlers or getting dinner on the table, feel free to just listen in. And when you can get a chance, you might want to write a hey in the notes section, the chat section, because Gwen will be reading all your notes and your questions. And she will tell me that we have some people who are actively listening. As I said, if you have to leave for some reason, there will be a question and answer at the end. But I do want to give you an opportunity to sign up for a one-to-one session, okay? Gwen and I would like to answer all those questions that you may have that you don't want to ask in an open forum. And if that is the case, all you have to do is click that link that says book now. You can pick a time on my calendar that is more suitable for you, and then we can navigate the convoluted path to home ownership. Okay, so take the time to do that now, or stay with us, and we'll give you another opportunity in a few minutes. First of all, I want to ask you tonight, how are you feeling? Okay, are you concerned? Have you been concerned about, well, wow, I should really buy a home. I've been renting long enough. Are you stressed out because you don't have the knowledge that you need to do that? Do you feel intimidated maybe by all the terms and everything that realtors use and lenders use? Well, all these feelings can make you anxious and uncertain. If you're having any of those feelings, raise your hand, please. And the goal tonight is going to be to relieve those feelings that you've had. So, how do you feel when you look at this beautiful sunset? Does it give you peace of mind? My goal is to have you breathing easier after this class and relieving most of your concerns. Okay, we'll get some information. So let's jump right in. Look at you. You're already doing step number 1. It says, come to this class and learn everything. Well, we're going to try to learn everything, but it is really not going to be much more than a half hour or 35 minutes. So that one-on-one booking will be very important. Number 2, as it says on the slide, is get pre-approved with your mortgage broker. Okay, Now, have you been intimidated by that? It's not really as difficult as you think. You can actually do it online with a phone call. Or a lot of the agents have the internet where you can sign up right there. The main issue is hooking up with the best lender for you, and we can help you with that. When I say the best lender for you, we're going to go over a lot of the different programs that are available to get you money for your first house. The third item up there says house hunt with your realtor. Well, house hunting with Gwen or me will be very different because after we have our one-on-one session, we will learn about your lifestyle and your specific features of the property that fits your wants and needs. Then we will email you listings on your schedule, and you will have access to the seller's property disclosure, utility costs, HOA information, etc. You don't get all that on Zillow. Now, how does that help you? Have any ideas? Well, it gives you more knowledge than you had before, and now you can pick or choose to see the property. Maybe you don't like something in that property disclosure, and we've just saved you a lot of time and effort by going out to see it. How does that sound? Does that sound helpful? Okay, step number 4 over there says that now you're moving into your new home. Well, there'll be a few steps in between there, but the heavy lifting is done once you have picked out the correct house for you. Okay? So, let's look at the next slide. All right? What is your big why? Your big why motivates you. It may be your family, or you may want to stop paying your landlord's mortgage or your landlord's retirement fund. Have you ever thought of rent that way? And why not invest in your personal wealth instead of your landlord's? You may need a larger home or a smaller home or a change of venue. Maybe you have a job change that's making you move. Keep your big why in mind and let it remove some of the stress and anxiety that you might be feeling. It's the best possible goal for you. That's your big why. Okay, and my big why is helping you and families just like you to achieve home ownership and financial freedom, just as I continue doing for my family. You know, at a younger age, you may have appreciated only what your credit card would afford you, but growing up means taking ownership of your future. Homeownership is still one of the best paths to financial freedom. I'm sure that if you haven't learned it already, you recognize that being financially sound gives you some good peace of mind, doesn't it? Okay, and you can find me on a lot of places on the internet. I have very good reviews on Google and Zillow and Realtor.com. But before you go out there to check all those reviews, let's work on eliminating some more of your concerns by talking about these big mistakes that first-time homebuyers make. Okay? Number 1, raise your hand if you ever thought that there are lenders out there who have programs that will give you free money. Yes, I said free money. Okay, the lender themselves can have a specific program, or the federal government has lending programs to help first-time home buyers. So raise your hand if you knew anything about that. Here are some of those programs, okay, for first-timers. Some of them are based on your situation. These are just 5 out of 10, and there are even more. For instance, a rural home has a USDA loan, which offers 100% financing. Could that be a help to you? if you have little or no down money available. Is down payment a concern for anyone on this call? If that's one of the things keeping you up at night about this process, let me tell you that lender programs require almost no money down. There's a specific grant program that forgives the grant you received when you live in the property for 10 years. Okay, some other programs have favorable interest rates just because you're a first timer. Think about any of those and all of those, because sometimes we can even stack them on each other. This other slide talks about VA and military financing. Are there any veterans who are active or retired on this call? Remember, you can raise your hand or ask questions because we are monitoring that, and we will get to them in the Q&A session at the end. Veterans, do you know if you have eligibility? Well, just get on my calendar and we'll find out through a lender. How would you like an outright grant for your down money? There's a PHFA program, a federal program that has grant money available depending on your income level. Are you a first responder, a teacher, a nurse, a firefighter, or on the police force? Yes, we have special recognition with lending programs and can receive a discount. Our lenders can explain all these programs and more that will be specific to their company or to your income and credit score and location of the property. Just get the one-on-one call booked. So, are you thinking now about free money? Let's get some more information from a lender about any and all of these programs that could help you. Wouldn't that be a load off your mind? Okay, please be sure to look at the calendar. This isn't just another opportunity for you to enlist a one-to-one call with Gwen or me, and we will direct you to the best lender to fit your needs. Take a minute and do that now and get some peace of mind.
I've been doing it.
Okay. While we're talking about first-time buyer programs, let's talk about your bank. Most people's first instinct is to go to the bank where they have their checking or savings account and apply for a mortgage loan there. That makes sense, right? But sometimes it doesn't, because big banks will pretend these first-time loans options don't exist if the bank loses money on it. The more important fact is, as this slide says, that I had a seller who had a very good offer that was declined because the seller chose to use a lender that was not local. The buyer was declined their offer because the seller said, no, I want a local lender. I'm not going to mess around with somebody who is in Washington or Oregon. I've also had experience of dealing with a buyer for my listing whose lender was in Nevada. Issue after issue came up with the house, and each time one of these issues needed approval from the lender, he was 3 hours behind us in time. It was over the 4th of July holiday, and let me tell you, it was a nightmare to meet the deadlines on the contract. Every time we had to get in touch with him, we couldn't call before noon. The transaction did close, but not before many people on both sides of the country had many gray hairs. Helpful hints: stay local. Okay, mistake number 2. Buyers do the right things, but in the wrong order. Let's look at an example of what that might mean. Have you ever made this mistake? I tried to make a cake by scratch. All my life, I had used a box cake mix. Delicious, easy, right? So I got all the ingredients that I needed to make this scratch cake and put them in a bowl, mix them up, and put them in the oven. Okay, just like you would for a box cake mix. Totally ignoring the recipe's instructions to cream the butter and the sugar first. Have you ever made that mistake? Well, you know what happened. I got something that technically looked like a cake, but I didn't nail it. I want you to nail the buying experience. I want you to get tens all across the board and stick that landing and do it right. So let's follow the steps. Like with the cake. Have you ever done this? The right things, but in the wrong order. Tell me if you're guilty of this. You stuck Zillow for 2 or 3 years, studying all the beautiful homes, disqualifying yourself from homes that you could actually afford because you're looking at your dream homes till midnight. All right? You might end up in an open house or with a builder who doesn't get you the right financing. And then, yes, you got a house, you made a cake, but did you nail it? Yes or no? Bottom line, you end up in the wrong house and the wrong deal. We don't want that to happen to you. Mistake number 3, going to the listing agent to buy your house. Many years ago, the list agent was used by the buyer because who knew more about the house than the seller and the list agent, right? But do you know who has hired the list agent? Hello, the seller has hired the list agent. So keep in mind, the seller in most cases in this area will also offer compensation to the buyer's agent, leaving you more money for your investment in the house by not paying that fee. So find out with just one application here to get you on our calendar, okay? And we'll explain how the buyer broker agency works with just that one call, because I'm sure you have heard things in the news since August of 2024 about buyer agency. Let's clarify that for you. Book your meeting at your desired time. Mistake number 4, okay? You get intimidated by the terms. You may want to take a few notes now if you're not chasing your little kids, trying to round them up for bed. So the average home buyers don't dig deep enough into the terms, but you're not going to be that average home buyer. You're going to be armed with information. Okay, so all of the terms I'm going to present have numbers associated with them. Okay, I'll do my best in the short time we have to give you a definition of some of these terms, but the exact numbers will be given to you by the lenders. So, in these hexagons, A, B, and C, they represent your closing costs, that great big lump of money that a buyer may have to pay. Look at box A, please. That is talking about the title fees, lender fees, rate buy downs, again from the lender, HOA fees. Now you ask yourself, well, why do I need to pay title fees and title insurance? That policy is going to guarantee you clear and free ownership of the land that the house is on. Goes way back to William Penn in 1681. These lender fees get the ball rolling, okay? There may be rate buy-down fees to change your rate, and only if you choose them. There might be private mortgage insurance if you don't put 20% down. Actually, I heard today of a program with one of our lenders that allows you to put 10% down and eliminate that PMI, private mortgage insurance. Okay, one of the other things in Box A is the Homeowners Association. Maybe you're interested in buying a townhouse and they have an HOA, Homeowners Association. There's a one-time fee associated to join that, which is paid, guess when? At closing. Look at Box B. These two are loan specific and are paid up front. For instance, if you're getting a VA loan, you will have a VA funding fee. And FHA requires a mortgage insurance of 1.75%, and that's another lump fee at closing. And Box C are your taxes. No one's going to escape these. We have your county and your township and your school, and those have got to be paid and prorated. Uh-oh. Bad news. Are you ready? Closing costs are expensive. Everyone gets that concept by now, but great news. Let's have someone else pay for them. Okay? If we were holding this webinar 2 years ago, when people were having their parents give them hundreds of thousands of dollars from their retirement accounts, so they could pay for a house and pay over asking, I would have told you, hey, you're going to need some serious cash to make this work. But oh my, how the tables have turned. And aren't you glad you didn't buy a house back then when everybody was climbing over each other to do so? The huge sellers market has slowed to a crawl, and sellers are more apt to negotiate than they were in 2020 to 2024. Did you know a buyer can ask a seller to pay up to 6% of the total closing costs? Okay, although that means less money for the seller, there are many reasons for that a seller might agree to negotiate closing costs with a qualified buyer. Okay? Mistake number 5. What's the thing that people fail to do that if they just could get this one right, all the other mistakes would probably fix themselves? Okay, let me explain why I use the term ninja agent. Back in 2022, at the height of the seller's market, I got a referral from a military person moving here from Colorado. On our first call, he asked me if I was a ninja agent. I explained that I rank in the top 11% of Coldwell banker agents worldwide, and he said, then you must be a ninja agent who fights to the death for her client. Well, I kind of paused at the fights to the death part, but then he went on to say he wanted someone who can handle the negotiations and get the transaction to close as smoothly as possible. I became his ninja agent, and the rest is history. We happily settled him in a house that he is still here living in today. So if you want a ninja agent for you, would you please check a time on my calendar, okay, and get your one-to-one meeting booked. Gwen has the link up for you right now, and we'll be happy to address any of your concerns on that call. Again, what is a ninja agent? Any agent can open the door for you to any house in the MLS, multiple listing service. And contrary to how it looks on HGTV, My job is not to show you houses. That's like 2% of what I do. My job is to pick up the sword and fight for you. That means negotiate hard, sometimes getting in the face of the other agent in pursuit of getting you the best deal. And my job is to shield you from negative consequences. If I see that you're about to make a bad deal and buy the wrong house, I will let you know, okay? I will explain why, but then it is up to you to make the correct decision. Would that be helpful to you? Think about that and let us know in the chat. Do you want us to keep you from making a bad deal? Okay? Right now, as you see, I want to become the best agent that you have ever had. So I want your kids to go to the school that you want them in. I want to make the impossible possible and get you the best area and the best home that you can afford to build your equity and financial independence. And selfishly, I want you to rave about me to all your family and friends, and then we have done our job. There are many ways that a ninja agent can get the transaction to close that the buyer can't see, does not experience firsthand. Let me tell you one quick story because we only have about 4 or 5 slides left. And during COVID, I had a young lady buyer and her pre-teenage daughter who wanted to live in a specific townhouse community. We wrote 7 offers on 7 different units in that community that came to market. Each time, she was either outbid by a cash offer or just outbid for a crazy offer, or another buyer who was paying the seller's closing costs, or even some of them were paying the seller's moving costs at that time. And these things actually did happen. Okay, so what should a ninja agent do for that buyer? She and I were both becoming very frustrated, so I sent a listing letter to 121 residents in that townhouse community to find an owner who was thinking of selling. I got one positive reply, and it was the perfect home for my buyer. She and her daughter are living there to this day, and they are one of those raving fans because that was one way to get it done. Now, is every tactic we use going to work? Well, I would lie to you if I said yes. The answer is no, but we will pull out all the stops to find a solution to the problem that you may be having with the transaction. Okay? It is your job to tell me what you really want. We can discuss the difference between wants and needs, and then make a plan to make those wants and needs a reality. How are you feeling now? Are you less concerned? Less stressed out? I hope less intimidated and anxious, and hopefully much more certain that you can do this. All right? Take a deep breath and trust that you are on the path to home ownership. As soon as you book that one-to-one call, okay, as a consultation, and either Gwen and I will field all your questions and concerns, okay? Though you might not be ready right now, your finances may not be in order. Gwen and I can help you get prepared, okay, and relieve the concerns and get you on the right path to home ownership. Are there any questions that you would like us to work on right now? If they are, just put them in the chat. We'll hang around for a few more minutes. Thank you for your attention this evening. And if you've already booked your consultation, good for you, and thank you very much.
I'll show you. Let's ask some questions so you're done.
I clicked stop sharing.
Okay. We are done. I think you did a really good job. That was really good.
I know, I can get better, I can get better.
You're so good.
But that costs $350, and I
Just to
don't,
do that one?
yeah, and
Just one webinar?
that's for the advertising on Facebook.
Right.
That's not what I paid to get this set up. That's not near what I paid.
Yeah, but can you do more of these?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I need your help on Thursday morning. Unless I change you. I forgot I have that agency class at GHAR, and I have Luna at 9 a.m.
I can't do it. I have Valerie and Michael. I've been, no, at noon.
Oh, okay. You want to see one house at 9 a.m.
Okay. Let's find out what this, Nate, how do we get back to Nate?
Oh, I have no idea. I X'd out. I'm not even in it.
Nate?
I'm here, just stop recording or simply close the tab.
I thought I did.
Here.
You're still live.
You want to hit that one off.